Hello all, this is Crimson Modder. So for today and for this series, starting at episode 1, we're just going to really be setting up the dev environment in 2025 for Minecraft 1.7.10. So the goal of this series is to really show best practices in modding, and well really the practices I use, which may not be probably not the best, but really the resources I also use. There's plenty of them, and just as a really just as a walk along as I create the mod Crimson Cult Expanded, which is going to be an add-on for the great mod Thaumcraft made by Azenor for 1.7.10. So kicking things off, we want to I have an SOP right here on the screen. So the first step here, we want to download IntelliJ. I have a link directly there. But just taking you guys here. Let's see. This is IntelliJ. All you really got to do is just download. You can use whatever latest version you want. It's free, which is perfect. You don't need the ultimate or anything like that. So then, moving on, if we go back to the SOP, we want to go. We want to also download the Forge source code for 1.7.10. And so, just going back here, we have the Minecraft Forge. Again, I have the link. I'll leave them all in the description below. So you just want to click on this to download it. Make sure also that the pathing for your IntelliJ, well, really for your Forge source code, is very easy to find. So then we'll want to build the project in IntelliJ. Please ensure that you're using JDK 8 when you're building it, which is also known as JDK 1.8. That's their declension. So newer versions typically don't work. I have that as a note, but there are teams out there that have managed to add compatibility for a lot of existing mods um, by cloning the mods, and a lot of these authors give them permission, of course. Um, However, please just make sure that you use JDK 8. Um, so when we first build the project, we will run into this error. So just for example, first thing you want to do when you have the project all set up is just please build it. Hit Control F9. That will begin the building process. You will get two errors throughout this tutorial. The first error you'll see right here is it'll show an invalid Gradle JDK configuration, and so you want to click on the link change JDK location, and so then you want to also locate wherever you installed that JDK, JDK 8. So if we go here, there's going to be two places we want to change. Not only that, we also want to make sure that we open up the Gradle panel. And so once you open up the Gradle panel, you'll find it usually on the right side of your IDE. Gradle, you'll click on that. It'll bring up the panel. And then on the panel, we want to click the wrench, the build tool settings, and then Gradle settings. So it'll give you this screen. Really, this is just the IntelliJ's settings screen. But regardless, you want to go down to your build execution deployment and then your build tools. And so Gradle is a build tool. We want to select that, and then we want to go down to the Gradle JVM and ensure that you click on the JDK version that you need. And then you want to make sure that you hit apply before hitting OK. And then after that, just hit Control F9 again, or the hammer icon to build it once again. You will run into an issue that the Gradle repository is not found. This is because the 1.7.10 Gradle repository that Forge had, obviously they no longer have. They got rid of it. Sorry, Maven had. And so there are multiple ways to work around this. I find that the helpful video that I linked here has a pretty nice and nifty way of doing it. Somebody left a build tutorial for 1.7.10 on their GitHub, and so it's very clear and cut what you need to do. The link again is in the description below. But we go to the GitHub, we scroll down here, shows an example project, and right here this is accessing the build.gradle file, and so I'll once again bring you to my IntelliJ, and then within the project folder we want to go to Gradle. and sorry, not Gradle, but it'll be there in the project folder, the build.gradle. Double click on that, and that'll bring up wrong. Oh, that's done wrong. Here, that'll bring up this tab here, the screen, and underneath repositories, we will want to change the URL, which is located right here. So make sure that you change this to what is on the site right here. I'm going to change it to this blue one right here. And then lastly, we do want to change the dependency, and we want to use this guy's GitHub because he cloned the repository, which is absolutely amazing. So just in the dependencies here, you add these two lines, the class path, and then within the class path object, we want to add a condition changing equals true. And then once that's all done, then just go back to your IntelliJ, build it again. It will build successfully. If you have any issues, please just let me know below, because there's multiple ways to work around this. And then I'll walk you through and help you out as much as I can. And then after that, one last thing we want to do is set up the dev workspace. Set up the decomp workspace. And you'll do that through the Gradle panel again, like I showed earlier. And then you'll want to double click on the setup decomp workspace. It'll run a script, and then you'll be good to go. So it's very, very lightweight, very easy to do. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. And as an aside, I do have within the project, you can go into the Gradle wrapper properties. I suggest that you do it because there can be, again, some niche errors that can occur, and you want to change the version from 8 or whatever you may have to 4.10.3. So again, just going back, we go into our Gradle within our project, and then we go into the wrapper, and then we want to go into Gradle wrapper properties. Just double click that, it'll open it. And then right here in the distribution URL at the very far right here, you got the Gradle dash, and then it's got the version number. I have mine 4.10.3, and then dash bin.zip. So I find this works best when you're modding and trying to build your project. Also, as this is just a beginning of a modding series, if you guys don't know a whole lot about Java, I would suggest brushing up on it. Also about OOP practices, which is your object-oriented programming. Those are very important to learn up on as well, because there's a lot of obfuscation that goes on. And then, as really another aside, if you guys also want to study some other mods, maybe your favorite mods that you have, like I guess for example, my favorite mod, Thaumcraft, all you have to do is download the mod on CurseForge, wherever they have it, on their GitHub, whatever. And for the jar file, the easiest way to decomp it is through like 7-zip or any sort of similar software. And once you have it decomped, I just usually set it a clone on my desktop. And so here we have for Thaumcraft, you just double click it. It will actually come up with all the files there. And so say we want to look at a file. We can go into Thaumcraft itself. He does have an API, but we can go into the actual code. Let's start with a client, and let's just do, say, a GUI. So for the Arcane workbench, let's see what he did there. So if you want to look at it, all you have to do is bring up your whatever text editor that you're using. Again, I do suggest IntelliJ because there are helpful add-ons. And then just drag, click, move it into here. And look at that, you've got some of the code that you can be looking through. It's got some of the objects that he's used, some of the functions. Really, really helpful. You can see what he's imported. So these are all the classes that he's had to use. So like what I'm hovering over right now, OpenGL, which is the rendering for Minecraft. It's cobbled in C++, I believe. So yeah, OpenGL is a whole nother topic. But that's just something helpful that you can do, just looking over how other people have done things and coded things. And one last thing before I go, in my SOP, I do have a very helpful Discord. This is a permanent link, so just go ahead and type that into your Discord. join this community. It's perfect legacy modding community. They have a lot of resources. So quickly, I'll pull it up, and we have the resources here for the legacy modding server, and they also have it for 1.7.10, optimization, fixed backports. I mean, it's just amazing. So much stuff, and that in the future, that's what I'll be covering before we really start diving into my code along with the Crimson Code expanded add-on. Anyway, if this has been helpful, please leave a like, but always please leave me a comment if you have any suggestions, tips, or run into any issues, and we'll work that out.